Cancer is a continuously growing global health problem that poses major challenges, most especially in developing countries. Find out how this international distributor of innovative health products came up with a series of solutions to help increase a patient's chance to survive the odds. In 2020, the Philippines hit a record of 354,398 prevalent cancer cases within a 5-year period. But because of poor access to health care, especially for people living below the poverty line, the advances and breakthroughs in cancer remain unattainable to many.
Cancer refers to a group of diseases that's characterized actually by cell growth, abnormal cell growth and proliferation, inflammation, as well as angiogenesis or formation of new blood vessels. It always starts with mutation in the genome or the genetic makeup of a person inside the cell. Before PPARs, most of my patients, they were unable to finish the chemotherapy regimens because of the side effects and because of discomfort during the process of chemotherapy.
Maria's son Dominic was diagnosed with stage 4 rhabdomyosarcoma when he was only 4 years old. While coping with the recovery of her other sick child, Maria found it hard to accept Dominic's condition.
It was actually very devastating kasi with Dominic, it was manifested mga 4 years old na siya eh. Unlike dun sa daughter ko na congenital talaga, baby pa lang. Yung mga bandang September, meron ng umuumbok-umbok dito sa leeg niya. Hindi ko talagang iniisip na cancer kaagad siya until nag-nosebleed siya.
Dominic was prescribed chemotherapy, but his family insisted to rush to an integrative doctor to seek for alternative cure.
Medyo hesitant ako kasi as a mother, I know the side effects ng chemotherapy kasi. So what I did is that I rushed towards the integrative doctor of my daughter, who happened to be PPAR partner doctor of Simply Nature.
One of the hardest decisions to make for people living with cancer is choosing the kind of treatment that would work best. To help patients and their families deal with this growing health problem, one company commits to producing safe, credible, and natural health solutions by drawing on the latest bioscience technology to deliver a series of safe, efficient, and natural products. What is Simply Nature and what does it do?
Simply Nature is a company we created and founded about 10 years ago. Our mission is to find effective health solutions for people. So we provide natural products that work in combination with conventional therapy and medicine.
As an international company that provides natural solutions for cancer, metabolic syndrome, and degenerative diseases, the management upholds a health philosophy that centers on whole food nutrition as the frontier in health management.
When we talk about choosing treatment, especially in the area of cancer, patients are really afraid of chemotherapy because of its side effects, and they tend to then look towards natural products. But this is not a either conventional or natural choice. At Simply Nature, patients can have the best of both worlds. Our protocols work with conventional chemotherapy to minimize its side effects so that they can get the best treatment using both conventional and natural together.
Cancer is like a virus. It continuously evolves, it mutates, so it can develop defenses against our usual treatment modalities like chemotherapy.
Like I said, chemotherapy and radiation therapy have a lot of side effects. So more often than not, patients stop their treatment because of these side effects. It's very important to have the support.
With the supplements that we give the patients, there will be lesser side effects, so they will be able to finish their chemotherapy protocols more comfortably.
This company introduced PPARs, which is touted as one of the best natural ways of solving serious health problems.
PPARs stands for peroxisome proliferator activating receptors. It's basically a nuclear receptor found inside the cells. Now, when these receptors are activated, the benefit that you can get from that is, number one, cellular differentiation. Number two, it's to promote fatty acid metabolism. If you have better insulin function, your blood sugar will naturally go down. And another one is to induce cancer cell death by modulating the immune system.
As a sole distributor of PPARs, the company promotes its use to many reputable health institutions worldwide and actively organizes corporate health conferences and public health talks in Asia.
Simply Nature PPARs is made out of a special strain of these types of microalgae that is very effective by protecting the bone marrow. We maintain the integrity of the immune system of the patient, which is very important to prevent infections and to fight off the cancer itself. And also, Simply Nature PPARs is also very dense in nutrients so that the patient can recover faster because of better cellular healing.
Sabi ko parang na-lead kami to an extraordinary and I must say amazing journey. I'm very proud of him. At a young age, na 8 years old, he believed that it's his purpose to siguro encourage other people then. We would like to really pay it forward with the knowledge that there's really like Simply Nature that can help people with cancer very much.
When fighting cancer, living healthy is very important because it allows us to pursue what is important to us in life, and that's what it's all about. When we can help a patient move from being bedridden to getting up, to be lucid in thought so that they can have conversations with their loved ones, it gives the whole process of fighting cancer a whole new meaning. And that is what drives us at Simply Nature.
In 2019, I was being diagnosed a cancer of my uterus. So I was shocked. Sabi ko, bakit nagkaroon ako ng ganito? Samantalang hindi ako mahilig sa pagkain. I'm sorry, basura. Started the tablet and then the powder.
The powder.
Tinry ko din yung yung tawag dito.
Gel?
Yeah, yung
Gel,
gel. Yes.
yeah.
It's really good. After 2 months ng aking therapy and taking PPARs, sabi ni doktora, magpa-laboratory ka na. So, nung nagpa-laboratory na ako, praise God, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, lahat normal. To God be the glory. Salamat sa Diyos. Sa 2 months ko po ng aking pag-take ng PPARs, ako po ay cancer-free.
Napansin ng pedyan niya na maputla compared noong bagong silang kasi monthly na nagpapa-follow up kami. Maputla at saka medyo distended na yung kanyang abdomen. From then, doon kami nag-start ng workup like blood test, ultrasound, hanggang ma-CT scan and ma-work up sa hospital. Doon na na-diagnose na meron siyang stage 3 na yung kanyang tumor sa liver. When she started taking PPARs noong September 25, we decided na i-try at i-monitor siya within a month. So within a month, after 1 month, October 25, nagpa blood test and ultrasound kami. And we really thank God na there is a big improvement. For me, it's really a blessing yung PPARs because yung dating alpha fetoprotein niya na tumor marker ng liver cancer, which is 65, it went down to 14. So, almost 4 times yung kanyang binaba na from 65 to 14. At ang kanyang ultrasound din, lumiit din yung kanyang lesion. Before siya nag-take ng PPARs, it was 3.6 by 4 by 3.5 centimeters. After 1 month lang, malaki din para sa amin yung binaba niya na naging 3.1 by 2.8 by 2.7. So almost 1 lahat, yung 1 centimeter, yung 1 centimeter kahit 1 centimeter lang yun. Malaki na yun na pagbabago kasi 1 month pa naman eh. So aside from sa pag-decrease ng kanyang lesion, meron din kasing nakitang nodule sa kanyang spleen that measures 1.7 by 1.9 by 2 centimeters. After 1 month na sa pag-ultrasound niya, it's miracle for us because it's totally gone. It totally disappeared. So we are thankful, forever thankful for leading us to PPARs kasi we believe na ginamit ni Lord yung PPARs to help us na hindi mag-undergo ng surgery yung baby namin.
CA markers.
Mataas siya. Then, nung after 3 months, nung pag-take ko ng Simply Nature, doon, naging normal na siya until now. Kahit si Dr. Johan na gulat siya kasi biglang normal agad. In just 3 months, nag-normal agad yung CEA ko. 1 year and 5 months. Cancer-free. Dapat may food supplements kayo. Like Simply Nature na proven and tested ko na. Talagang hindi ako pwedeng mawala ng Simply Nature na yan.
2019, I was being diagnosed a cancer of my uterus. So I was shocked. Sabi ko, bakit nagkaroon ako ng ganito? Samantalang hindi ako mahilig sa pagkain. I'm sorry, basura. Started the tablet and then the powder. Tinry ko din yung yung tawag dito.
Gel?
Yeah, yung gel. Yes. It's really good. After 2 months ng aking therapy and taking PPARs, sabi ni doktora, magpa-laboratory ka na. So, nung nagpa-laboratory na ako, praise God, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, lahat normal. To God be the glory. Salamat sa Diyos. Sa 2 months ko po ng aking pag-take ng PPARs, ako po ay cancer-free.
But there's always something that we can learn from this.
It's that don't just settle for one treatment modality. By considering the other treatment modalities, you significantly increases your chance of surviving, significantly increase your quality of life later on. Now, for cancer, you'll be living with cancer for the rest of your life. So, we have to think long term. Okay? What would give us the best outcome in the longest period of time?
Hi, welcome to another episode of Simply Healed. Today we have a very exciting and important episode. We're going to answer the question, what is the benefit of chemotherapy when it comes to recurrence? That means you have successfully fought off your cancer. Does chemotherapy affect your cancer coming back? And for those of you who are already undergoing chemotherapy, should you complete the full course of chemotherapy or should you stop early because you're doing well? And today we have none other than our Dr. Jansen to help us answer these important questions. Welcome to the program, Doc.
Hello, Shan. Hello, everyone. Happy to be here again.
Yeah, Doc, tonight let's start with something personal. Doc, remember my friend, patient A?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll use so that we don't mention her name. A personal friend of mine, she had breast cancer. And she opted for surgery, but she took some delay in making that decision, so that the cancer actually became bigger. But she did go for a mastectomy at the end of the day. And after that, she decided she didn't want chemotherapy. And since she already did the surgery, the tumor was largely was removed. She went on natural protocols, and she did very well. She got back strong, got back to work. Everything was normal. And it was not 6 months, it was not 1 year, it was almost 2 years later. Suddenly the cancer came back, and it was not only in her breast, it had metastasized, it spread to the bones and her brain. And when I referred her to you, Doc, actually, I was very positive in front of her, but in my heart, I was worried because, anytime cancer spreads to the brain and the bone, these two are not operable places, right? And if you put radiation there, it's also your concern.
Yes, correct.
So, but how is patient A doing now?
So when you first referred patient A to me, she was done with surgery. Now, she's quite reluctant to go for the chemo and the radiation because of the side effects. Mostly the side effects, no? But after seeing her, I told her, you don't have to worry about the side effects of the chemo and the radiation, because what I'm going to do for you is to reduce these side effects so that you can finish them. Now, after much convincing, she finally agreed to go for the chemo, go for the radiation. But right now, she's already done with the treatment, actually.
Oh, she's done?
Yes, she's done. The tumor in her brain actually already disappeared.
The tumor in her... Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You're going to give her a call after this.
Yes, now she's actually quite doing well. She's working.
She's working
She
again.
was able to work while undergoing the chemo and the radiation. This patient is actually, I really admire her because she's quite tough. Okay. Filipinos tend to become so tough when when things get hard. Financially speaking, she's not really that well off.
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, it was really tough. So she told me, Doc, I have to work, because if I don't work, then I won't be able to sustain the treatments that I'm going through. Because it's quite a lot. She's undergoing 3 treatments
chemo,
at the same
radiation,
time.
right?
She's undergoing through chemo, radiation therapy, and PPAR therapy.
Yeah.
Right? So, these things cost money. So, yeah, Doc, I'm gonna work. So, yeah. Then
she's working.
Yeah, she's working. We're following. We're in close follow-up. Yeah. So, when I asked her, how's work? It's okay. I can commute.
Wow, she's commuting.
She's commuting.
She's not even driving. She's commuting.
Yes. So, all of you, our viewers who are staying here in the Philippines, all of you know how hard it is to commute in Metro Manila.
Crazy.
Yes, it's crazy. Aside from the traffic, all those long lines. This patient was able to go through with having stage 4 cancer. Okay?
So that's the confidence for those of you who are joining us first time today. I hope this starting case study will be so encouraging to you. So Doc, back down to our topic tonight. What's the benefit of chemotherapy when it comes to recurrence? So maybe Doc, what is the overall picture of cancer recurrence? I think it's so important. I meet so many cancer patients. The first thing they are very worried if they are successful. Now what? To all the cancer patients who are now declared in remission or cancer-free, a big congratulations to you. You've won your first bout against cancer. I'm sure right now at the top of your mind is
What's next?
what's next, and will the cancer come back?
Yes.
So, Doc, can you give us an overview on the different types of cancer and how often do cancer come back in those cases?
Okay, so the data that I'm going to show you is data collected from the US. Okay, so please mind you, for all our viewers in other parts of the world. Okay, this data came from a highly westernized country. Well, the US. Okay, so the data that I'm going to show you in the US might be different from Japan, might be different from other Asian countries. Singapore, okay, might be different in the Philippines. Okay, but largely, there will be similarities. Now, in terms of similarities, where do we see alignment? Okay, so that when I show you the data, okay, this data that I got from Dr. Jansen is more or less the same for where I live. Okay, so the lifestyle, the diet especially. Okay,
So if this is US and you live in Singapore or Metro Manila, you are pretty close to the data,
Yes,
because
okay.
that's how Americans live and that's how we eat also.
yes. Especially if the diet in the culture is highly westernized already. So here in the Philippines, the food that Filipinos eat are actually
Same.
almost the same. Yeah, and it's quite similar, no, in terms of
American.
because of the processing, because of mainly because of the processing. So it's really quite high in fats, quite high in sugar. A lot of fast foods here in the Philippines as well. Okay, so
Let's go, Doc.
let's go for the data. So I'm going to discuss the common ones. So number one is breast cancer. So what is the chance of breast cancer recurring after you get treated?
So this is after
After-
surgery,
yeah.
after chemotherapy.
Yes. After they declare you cancer-free.
Okay.
After declaring you cancer-free, what
How
is the
often?
percentage, okay, of the cancer coming back? So for breast cancer, overall, it's 30%.
That seems pretty high.
Yes, it's actually quite high. But take note, this is overall. So this is combining all different types of breast cancer, combining all stages of breast cancer together. Okay.
What can we do
Yeah.
to lower this for breast cancer?
Now, number one is to go for the treatments, the hormonal treatments. If you are hormone receptor positive, you have to undergo the hormone therapy. Okay, so let's say, for example, here, with letrozole, there would be now a 5 to 9% chance of recurrence in 10 years.
Wow, so from 30%,
So from 30, down to
best
5
case
to 9.
scenario, it drops to 5%. That is
Yes.
6 times less chance of having recurrence.
Yes.
If we flip the percentages around, if you're on letrozole, in the first 10 years after you've successfully fought cancer, you have a 95% chance of being cancer-free.
Yes, so that's why it's very important to undergo these treatments. Let's go to colorectal cancer. Now, for colorectal cancer, it's 17% chance. So that's correct. That is almost one in 5. Okay? Now, let's proceed to the other more common cancers like lung cancer. So for lung cancer, for early stage lung cancer, usually that is only surgery would be sufficient. However, once the tumor has been removed, there's actually a 26% chance of it recurring.
Wow, that's a 1 in 4 chance.
Yes,
That's
quite
pretty high.
Yeah. And what if you are quite afraid of the surgery, or if you are not a candidate of the surgery?
Yeah, because
Then-
sometimes it's hard to operate if your tumors
Yes,
are...
it's already spread. It's already widespread, So what if you just underwent chemotherapy and radiation therapy? So that would be 27% chance.
Also
of
1 in
recurrence.
4 chance.
Yes, so it's almost the same. So you can just imagine if you combine these two modalities.
So that means if you go for surgery,
go for the surgery, then go for the radiation and chemotherapy, as
Maybe-
what your doctor advised, that would probably
make it 1 in 10 chance.
1 in 10 chance.
Yeah, that's a
at least
huge change from 1 in
huge
4
change,
to
yes.
1 in 10.
Correct. So you can just imagine, all right? Now let's go to prostate cancer. So for prostate cancer is slow-growing cancer.
That's the
Okay.
good news, right?
Yes.
For all those who are afraid of prostate cancer.
However, let's make it more advanced. Okay, so for males who have underwent prostatectomy or the removal of the prostate, so if you remove the prostate in prostate cancer patients, this is quite advanced already. And
That you
the
actually remove the prostate.
Actually remove the prostate. It's quite advanced. It's quite growing fast. Okay, so these are exceptional cases. Now, if you have a low-risk disease, okay, that would be 24% chance in recurrence at 10 years. Okay. Now, for intermediate risk disease, that's 40%. For high risk, that's 48%. So take a look at the risk stratifications. No. The higher the risk, the higher the chance of recurrence. So it's really very important that after getting diagnosed, you have to do all the treatments possible immediately. Because as the longer
So don't
you
just
delay-
celebrate the moment you are declared
Yes.
cancer-free.
Yes.
Yes.
So don't just settle on surgery. Don't just settle on the chemo. Don't just settle for one treatment modality. You combine everything. Okay? As what your doctor advises you to do. Okay?
And if your doctor says that, that's all he can do for you now, and you're cleared to eat anything that you want, don't do that, all right? Go with a consultant, Dr. Jansen. You should not eat anything you want.
Yes.
Remember, we already proven cancer is caused by certain foods. So now that you're cancer-free, why go back and eat those foods that cause cancer so fast, right?
Yeah.
Doc, the next number on my screen is pretty shocking.
Yes, ovarian cancer. So for women out there who have had ovarian cancer. Now, for ovarian cancer, surgery is the mainstay of treatment. But don't stop after surgery. You have to undergo chemotherapy. Because the chances of recurrence, if you don't go for chemotherapy, is 85%.
It's almost a sure thing, even if you go for surgery and if you have ovarian cancer, it's almost a sure thing your cancer will come back. That is staggering. This is the first time, honestly, Doc, I never looked into specifically for ovarian cancer. I don't deal with many ovarian cancer patients directly, but 85% is, oh my God, it's like a sure bet that your cancer is coming back.
Correct. So don't just stop at surgery. No, you have to go for the chemo. And don't be afraid.
But Doc, does it really mean that the patient at that point, right, after the surgery, when they go for all the diagnostics, they are sort of declared cancer-free?
These patients are declared cancer-free.
Cancer-free, and there's an 85% chance that they will come back. Wow.
Okay.
To all the audience that are viewing right now, I think it's really important for us to understand. Winning your first fight with cancer is not the end of the war. I think that's the message here. And for ovarian cancer patients, this is almost a sure thing. Yeah, you beat this ovarian cancer, but you have an 85% chance that it will come back.
Okay, so please take a look at this graph. Okay. So let's answer the question. Is it better to complete the chemotherapy or just discontinue?
Yeah, like especially if you're doing well.
Yeah.
Right?
Alright, so these are breast cancer patients. Again, this is US data. Okay? Now, let's take a look at 3 different groups. Okay? The first group are breast cancer patients who have finished chemotherapy. Completed everything. Okay? The second group of patients are those who have discontinued chemotherapy prematurely. Now, how do we define premature discontinuation? Okay, so they just finished 1 or 2 cycles, then that's it, they stop. Probably because of financial reasons, probably because of too much side effects. Okay, so whatever the reason is. Now, let's go back to the first group. How do we define that the patient completed the chemo?
Is it 100% or 80%?
It's at least 80%.
So 80%, alright? So it may not be 100%.
Yes,
80%.
it's at least 80%. If they have completed 8 out of 10 cycles of chemotherapy, then that's already considered completed. Okay. Now, the last group is breast cancer patients who did not undergo chemotherapy at all.
So probably natural.
Yes. Yeah, probably natural or supplementation or probably these breast cancer patients just underwent surgery
And then,
alone.
like my friend, just did surgery and then changed lifestyle and things like that.
Correct. Okay. Now, let's take a look at their disease-free survival.
So, Doc, please show us the difference.
Before I go further, let me explain you why do doctors prescribe chemotherapy? What is its purpose? Okay. So, for breast cancer patients, best thing to do is have it removed. Okay, have the tumor removed. Once the doctor removed the tumor, now there's manipulation. Okay, in the area. Now, if there is manipulation, there will be microscopic cancer cells that would be thrown off somewhere. Okay. Now we do not know where it gets thrown off because it's so small. The doctors can't see it with the naked eye.
Doc,
Okay?
I mean, this is another important thing. When a patient is declared cancer-free, that's a wrong statement to make, right? Would it be more? I think it's more accurate. Correct me if I'm wrong. That when a patient is declared cancer-free, a more accurate statement should be, you are declared non-detectable cancer.
Yes, that's why for us to declare a cancer patient as cancer-free, that means that you are on remission. Okay, it doesn't mean that you are 100% cured of cancer. There will still be cancer cells lingering inside your body.
It's just that it's so small.
It's just that it's so small. It's not detectable by our diagnostic modalities. So if it's so, then clinically speaking, it's
You
not
still have cancer cells.
You still have cancer cells.
And it's
but-
the same cancer cell. It's not just the general cancer
course.
cells all of us have. It's that specific
Of
cancer
course.
cell from that cancer tumor.
Of course, it's just that it's not clinically significant. Okay, so you can, sit back, relax, don't worry about anything. All right, so this is what it means. Now, let me go back to my example. Okay, so now there will be microscopic cancer cells that will be thrown off in other parts of the body. Now, how do you kill off those cancer cells?
You can't, right?
You can.
Because you can't do
That's why-
surgery on a
No microscopic thing, alright? And you don't know where they are.
That's the thing. You don't know where they are.
Yes. So, now the doctors would have to make sure that all cancer cells that are quite active are destroyed. That's why they give chemotherapy. So, it's like the nuclear bomb.
So this
correct?
chemotherapy that they give will not be a localized chemotherapy.
It's
so
systemic.
the way we deliver chemotherapy has also improved. So to minimize side effects, you can apply the chemotherapy to the location so that you don't damage the whole body. But these types of chemotherapy is systemic.
It's systemic.
The
It should be systemic.
It will circulate everywhere
Yes,
in
it
your
should
body.
circulate everywhere.
Because the point is not to go after the tumor. There's no more tumor.
Yes.
The point is to do a wide sweep of your whole body to get rid of wherever the cancer cells that are too small to be detected could be hiding.
Yes.
And they could be hiding anywhere.
Now, it doesn't mean that, for patients who have underwent, I have underwent whole body PET CT scan, whole body MRI, whole body bone scan, whatever, and there wasn't any evidence of cancer. Then I went for surgery. Now, please don't make the assumption that there isn't any cancer cells there in that.
It's just not
It's just not detected by
It's
the
just
body.
too
That's
small
why.
to be detected.
Yeah, it's just too small to be detected. So that's why it's still very important that although there weren't any detected spread elsewhere in your body, you still have to undergo the chemo. Okay? So that is the reason. Now, let's put that knowledge, that understanding into this graph.
And see
Okay?
if
And see?
real life reflects our understanding.
Yeah. Okay? So, we have these 3 lines. So the blue line are the patients who have completed chemotherapy. The green line are those who have discontinued chemotherapy prematurely, and those who did not undergo chemotherapy are those who are in the yellow line. Okay, so take a look at the disease-free survival. So what does disease-free survival means? It means the length of time after treatment during which there are no signs of cancer.
So if you go for your scans, all your cancer markers, everything is healthy, normal.
Yes. All right. Now, let's go back to the graph. Now, take a look at the x-axis. Okay, so that is the disease-free survival or the number of years where you are declared cancer-free.
That's the bottom horizontal
Okay?
line.
Now, for those who have not underwent chemotherapy, the graph or the line is quite steep. So this means there are quite a lot of cancer patients who did not undergo chemotherapy who have recurred. Okay?
Within 5 years.
Within 5 years.
It's almost
Okay.
about 15-17%, right?
Yes.
Yeah, or almost the 80.8 mark, which would be the 20%.
Yeah.
So 1 in
Okay,
5
1 in 5.
of those who cured themselves of cancer without going for chemotherapy, actually 1 in 5 of those people actually had a recurrence.
Recurrence, correct. Okay? Now, take a look at the other two lines. Okay? The blue and the green line. At the 5-year mark, they're quite the same.
Yeah, no, at the 5-year mark, Doc, sorry. At the 5-year mark here, it seems like the green line and the non-chemo line is the same. But
Yeah.
the 100% chemo line, there seems to be a
There
difference.
seems to be a difference, okay? But now let's project that further, okay? Let's project that to the 10-year and the 15-year mark.
Wow.
Now, we can say that there isn't much deviation between the two, but the difference would be at the 20-year mark.
Wow. You can
Okay.
see a huge difference between the blue and green. But you can see the big difference in the 10-year mark between the yellow and the blue
green.
and the green already.
Yes.
So I'm trying to understand what this graph means, based on what you shared just now and what we understand, we all agree, is that when you're declared cancer-free, you're not cancer-free, there are cancer cells too small.
Yes.
So if I, as a normal researcher, will look at this, one of the inference, that means not conclusive, but what we can imply here is that, well, it takes 10 years for the very, very small cancer cells to grow into another tumor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why at the 5-year mark, we suddenly see some people have the cancer tumor back again because it took 5 years to grow. Then if your number of cancer cells were very little at the end in the first year, you killed most of it, then it takes 10 years to grow.
Yes, it would take a longer time for the cancer cell to come back if it was destroyed by the chemotherapy, because the way chemotherapy works, okay, we have something we call the doubling time. Okay, so the way cancer cells grow, it's that from 1 cell it becomes 2, from 2 cells it becomes 4, from 4 it becomes 8. So that's how it grows. From 8 it becomes 16, from 16 it becomes 32. Right? So chemotherapy also does the same thing. It cuts down by half and by half and by half. Okay? So the more cycles that you undergo, the more cuts or the more cancer cells will be culled down. You'll be able to decrease.
So
there will be more halves.
So if we put a simple math to it, so if you had 100 cancer cells after your first chemotherapy, it'll become 50. And if you do your second session, it becomes 25. And if you do a third session, it becomes 12.5.
Yes.
And it becomes 6, right?
It becomes 3.
Now, and it becomes 3. Now, your cancer also will go back at the same rate. From 3, it becomes 6. It becomes 12.5. So the more chemotherapy you have, the more steps you push the cancer backwards.
Yeah.
The chemotherapy is just to wipe out as much cancer cells in your body as possible. So if you have very little cancer cells remaining in your body, it would take a longer time for these few cancer cells to develop into another cancer tumor. So with that, maybe one last final question, Doc. If a patient has, let's say, like my friend patient A, a particular type of cancer cell, are we wrong to say that we would never be able to 100% rid the body of that cancer cell? But it's just that you don't have enough 100 years. I mean, if you really eliminate those cancer cells to a really small number, it'll take another 60 years for it to grow back.
Yes,
so
you said it.
Effectively, you don't live long enough for the cancer to come back.
You said it.
So I think this is a breakthrough understanding in a way of looking at cancer. You can't 100% remove that cancer.
Yes.
You just need to remove enough so that even if it grows, it will never grow back within your lifespan. So basically, for the rest of your life, you will be free from that cancer. If you understand cancer this way, I think your expectations and your strategies and how you go about treating cancer will be totally different depending on your age, depending on how much time you have left. You will really be able to make the right choice to give you a right balance between quality of life and length of life left. Right? So, Doc, any last words? Because I can see many questions coming up.
We've again and again the previous topics that we have are more on addressing the cancer, fighting the cancer. Now we have the topic today is kind of more sinister. More bad news, no? But there's always something that we can learn from this. It's that don't just settle for one treatment modality. You always have to consider the other ones, because by considering the other treatment modalities, you significantly increases your chance of surviving, significantly increase your quality of life later on. Now for cancer, you'll be living with cancer for the rest of your life. So we have to think long term. Okay? What would give us the best outcome in the longest period of time? Okay? So that would be
without further ado, there we see the questions are coming. So let's go to our Ask Me Anything segment.
First of all, we would like to say thank you for joining us tonight in watching another episode of Simply Heal webinar brought to you by Simply Nature, your longest running webinar here in social media. You are watching the topic, cancer survival from off chemo to off remission. I'm sure that you have learned a lot, because I can see that, yes, there are a lot of questions coming in. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our two gentlemen who discuss our topic for tonight and who will answer our questions. First off with our CEO of Simply Nature, Mr. Sean Lim, and of course, our lifestyle medicine doctor, Dr. Jansen and Calalan. Good evening, Sir Sean, and good evening, Doc Jansen.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Doc.
Hello, Sean. Hello, Sheila. Good evening, everyone.
It's good to see. I just do a shout out to our regular viewers. I think Doc will welcome the Filipino viewers. I will welcome those near my part of the world. So a big hello to Lily, from a Singaporean to a Malaysian. So thank you for joining us again.
Yes, well, as you know, sir, and Dr. Jansen, we are actually being watched, not only here in Asia Pacific, but also in the US and also in Canada.
Really? Who do we have registered for the program tonight? I mean,
we do have customers, we do have clients that we have invited to watch tonight as well.
Wow. Okay, that's very nice. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the questions.
Yes. First off, first question that we have here coming from Ms. Marisol Benson. Okay, how to starve cancer?
Wow, that's a good question. How to starve cancer?
It's a good question. Okay, here's actually Sean and I talked a while ago, and then I explained to him the fundamental concept of the protocol that I give to my patients.
Yeah.
Okay? So how do you starve cancer? If you don't eat, you'll be able to starve cancer. So fasting can starve cancer cells.
But that also starves you.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So how do we get around that? Okay. Now, in terms of the metabolic function of normal cells and cancer cells, of course, obviously, cancer cells would have a higher metabolic rate, and their metabolic processes are also different from healthy cells. Now, the normal cells or the healthy cells can regulate themselves. Okay, so if we eat, okay, for the normal cells, if we eat, they would be able to acquire energy. Now, if we do not eat, if we are in the fasting state, now the cells, the normal cells, would be able to repair themselves automatically. Okay, so that's how they switch. Okay, now for the cancer cells, it's different. Okay, so if we eat, if we continue to eat, the cancer cells will just, like Pac-Man, continue to eat and eat and eat everything around them. That's why they are so metabolically active. Okay, so they cannot regulate, they cannot stop that. they cannot stop that. Okay. Now, if you go on fasting, the cancer cells will naturally die because they cannot get enough nutrients already. Okay. So how do we go around? How do we then go around that? Because you'll starve, right? I mean, you need to eat. Okay. So what I did was to create a fasting mimicking diet. Okay. So I feed patients food which mimics the effect of fasting. Okay. So that way, the cancer cells would now would now be able to starve themselves and die. Okay, so that's the basic principle of the dietary plan that I give away to my patients. Okay, so but just to answer, no, in simplest terms, how do you starve cancer? It's basically fasting. Okay, and also if you combine fasting with chemotherapy, the chemotherapy drug will be able to kill more cancer cells, and at the same time, if you combine fasting to chemotherapy, you'll experience less side effects, less nausea, less vomiting. Yeah, there you have it.
So it's a very it's a very important concept because cancer cells feed on the nutrients you give, right? So starving cancer. Doc, another way to starve cancer is to lower inflammation because when cancer tumors reach a certain size, they need to create blood vessels, right?
Yes, yes.
And if your body is inflamed, it's easier to create a blood vessel. But if your body has low inflammation, forming blood vessels is tougher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So reducing chronic inflammation is also another way that you make your body hostile to the growth of cancer. So in a way, it's also a kind of starving the cancer or slowing its growth. All right. So that's good, right? Anything that is anti-inflammatory will assist you in this manner. And that's also the reason why you don't want to eat like inflammatory food when you have cancer.
Exactly.
Like, fried food,
Fried foods, yes.
barbecue food,
Yes,
and things like
exactly.
that. You're making it easier for the body, cancer tumor to create blood vessels, which makes your tumor grow much bigger, much faster.
You mentioned anti-inflammatory. PPARs is a very well-known anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, that's true. PPAS is a really good anti-inflammatory.
Yes. Also, PPAR agonists stimulates the same. It stimulates the same metabolic pathway as fasting state.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes. It does.
Good.
That's why it's anti-aging.
Yeah. No wonder
Yes.
I look okay.
Okay. Here's another trivia. Okay. How do we prolong the effects of aging? It's through fasting as well. Okay?
Also, when you
Yes,
fast,
it's
you
through-
age slower.
Slowly. You age slower when you
Wow,
fast.
okay.
Because our cells repair.
Okay.
When you are in the fasting state. Okay, that's why sleep is very important. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I've been listening to your advice. I've been sleeping at 9 p.m. every day the last few days.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
but I wake up very early, like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
That's too early.
4:30, I'm up
Okay.
already.
So,
It's really good to know.
yeah, so PPAR agonist also stimulates the same effect, okay, the same metabolic pathway as when you are in a fasting state. So, yeah, that's why it's also quite good. It has the same anti-aging effects.
It's good to know that you can starve your cancer cells without starving yourself.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That's very good. So I think again, to do that properly, that's where a consult with Dr. Jansen, where you take a look at your strategy in fasting. That will be important. All right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Doc. Okay, another question coming from Miss Apple is it possible to have a treatment like radiation for a patient with liver cancer having 12 cm of cyst or tumor?
Well, 12 cm
12 centimeters, wow, that's quite
huge.
That's quite huge.
Okay. Well, that's huge.
For a 12 centimeter tumor in the liver, they don't do chemotherapy for that. Actually, they seldom do chemotherapy for liver cancer patients already because there are other better modalities. For a 12 centimeter tumor, I would probably, the onco would probably suggest chemoembolization. Chemoembolization is like blocking the blood supply of the tumor. Okay, so in that way you starve the tumor of its blood supply. Okay, so if the tumor is not getting any blood supply, then essentially that will just shrink down or probably turn into a scar. Another option would be to use immunotherapy as well. But for immunotherapy, I would probably take for a 12 centimeter tumor.
It's a bit big, is it?
It's a bit big because you have to shrink down the tumor first. So chemoembolization would be one. Surgery would be another option. But if it's surgery, the tumor has to be in a very good location. Because if it is not, if it involves or it is very near the adjacent organs or the organs beside the liver, then the surgeon might not consider surgery. So for that matter, I think chemoembolization would be the better option, then followed by immunotherapy. But however, the immunotherapy would probably be for life already. Okay? But so that I can give a better advice, please go for a consult because I need more information about your father-in-law. Okay?
Correct. Okay, thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc Jansen. All right, another question coming from Mr. Ramir Ramirez. What's the best diet for cancer patient endometrial cancer? Thank you.
Okay, for any cancer for that matter, it's the same diet, no? The same diet that is used to prevent cancer is also the diet used to treat and to prevent, to treat cancer. Okay, so that would be a whole food plant-based diet. Okay, so a whole food plant-based diet are plant foods which are unprocessed and unrefined. Okay, so if you imagine an apple, you eat the apple itself, not apple juice, not apple pie. Okay, that would be the best diet for a cancer patient. So that would be true for all types of cancer, and not only cancer, for other metabolic diseases as well. Okay.
Thank you, Doc.
Yep.
Thank you, Dr. Jansen. All right, another question. All right, this question was sent to us privately by our one of our patients. Doc, is it possible that PPARs can induce sleepiness to a patient? My dad is stage 4 lung cancer, and he is on PPARs liquid now.
Sleepiness.
Can I try this
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know the actual condition. I'm gonna say something very general for all PPAR users. Okay, is this when you take a PPAR extract and then you feel sleepy, very often it's because your body actually is stimulated, has enough strength that it wants to go into the repair mode, and then it will push you to sleep. Okay, to give a non-cancer example, I used to have a friend who works at Accenture. He drinks 10 cups of coffee a day. So he didn't have to take the Simply Nature extract. All he did was take the tablets, and for the first 3 days, he fell asleep at every opportunity. But after the 4th day, suddenly he was wide awake and he didn't need even 1 cup of coffee at all. So that means he's been pushing his body really hard for a long time, and when the body gets the nutrients that it needs, it will sense it and it will basically push yourself into repair mode. So before Dr. Jansen actually gives his take on this, one thing I would say is observe your is it father or father?
Father. It's father.
Father, right? How long is this sleepiness? After he sleeps, when he wakes up, is he alert, right? Is he clear, or is he constantly lethargic? Because if he, and this sleepiness, how long has it persisted? If it's just been a first few days, or is it because every time he went for I don't know if he's in any other protocol, so every time he takes the PPAR, it pushes him into repair mode, which is to sleep. So that's my take from the general. What about you, Dr. Jansen?
It's quite an unusual effect. No?
Yes, because usually we get the opposite effect.
The opposite.
Yeah.
Yes, this is actually the first time I heard of someone taking PPAR agonist who has sleepiness as a side effect, because it's usually the opposite.
Yeah, it usually is the opposite. The only time I've heard it is that another specific case is I had, again, this one is a non-cancer case. The client, the customer actually had a problem sleeping. She was going through a lot of emotional stress. She actually needs 2 sleeping pills every night to sleep. But the moment she took PPARs and she took the PPAR powder extract, she was able to sleep every night without the sleeping pills. So that's my other example where taking the product actually make you sleepy. But again, the cases for that always is because the person is already they push their body really hard, and basically they just needed to rest.
Yeah.
And it doesn't persist more than 3 or 4 days.
Yep, correct. For me, I would look at other factors first before considering it as a side effect. So it would be, to answer you better go for a consult so I can know you better.
Sheila, you were gonna say something? I think we cut you off like 3 times.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I can actually know that the patient actually started the liquid extract yesterday.
Oh, that's why. Okay. Normally when you take the liquid extract, you're supposed to be full of energy. But really, if your body needs rest, alright, needs to repair, then it could have that effect where you feel sleepy instead. Okay? So again, all my examples are non-cancer, right? Because the cases where that is more prevalent is really in non-cancer cases that I came across in. In most of the cancer cases I come across, that we deal with, is the reverse. They become very energetic. All right. So, but this could be a good example of one possibility. So let's just observe for the next 2-3 days. And very important, after your dad wakes up, when he wakes up, is he more refreshed than normal? Right? That will be able to tell you that sleepiness is really the body really getting the nutrients it needs and really doing some heavy lifting in terms of repair.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Jansen. Alright, another question. Okay, this is also sent in privately. What if it is the doctor who refuses chemotherapy? How can you treat the patient?
Come again. What if
what?
Sorry. What if it is the doctor who refuses chemotherapy? How can we treat them?
The doctor doesn't want to give chemotherapy, or the patient is a doctor who doesn't want chemotherapy?
It's really the doctor who refuses because of the condition of the patient.
Okay.
Okay, the patient is not a candidate for chemotherapy. Yeah. Okay, then
Doc, I answer first, then
okay.
you give.
Sorry,
Okay, because I'm gonna give anecdotal, and Doc will give you the medical one. Okay, so if the doctor refuses to give you chemotherapy, it's because you are not suitable. You could be not suitable for many reasons, but here is one that we have encountered a few times. The patient was simply too weak to go for chemotherapy. And for example, their red blood cell count and the white blood cell count is already too low. So dangerous to go for chemotherapy. So what has happened in all these cases was the patient actually went on liquid PPARs for a variation. Some patients literally just a week or maybe 3-4 days, their red blood cell count and their energy level actually all the way up. The worst case that I've heard is it took 1 month. It took 1 month of liquid extract for a patient who is not eligible for chemotherapy because he's too weak to become strong enough for chemotherapy. Yeah, so that is if the patient really realizes that if for the patient chemotherapy really is the best option to treat their particular type of cancer. For example, they have late stage cancer, so chemotherapy is one of the best ways to do that, but however the patient is too weak. So one strategy is to strengthen the patient. And of course, if you're taking Simply Nature PPAR extracts while you're strengthening the patient, you are also fighting the cancer, because on its own, our Simply Nature PPAR extract is what people who choose not to go for chemotherapy, then they choose it as the primary protocol to treat cancer naturally. Doc, over to you.
Yeah, so Shan already told you how the PPAR aspect works, no? So if you are not a candidate for chemotherapy, so that's one. You need to build your body up back so you can receive it. But if you are really not a candidate for chemo, so no matter the status of your cancer, no matter the status of your body, then you have to consider the other modalities. So you still have your radiation, you still have your immunotherapy, your targeted therapy, those things. Okay. Then of course you still have to combine those treatment modalities with PPAR agonists, because the PPAR agonists make these treatment modalities more effective. Okay, so one example would be immunotherapy. Okay, immunotherapy. The way immunotherapy works is that it sort of trains your immune system to detect the cancer, so that your immune system can kill off the cancer. PPAR agonists can make your immune system so strong. Okay, and the immunotherapy and the treatment itself overall would be more effective. So imagine if you combine PPAR agonists in your immunotherapy cycles, or the number of immunotherapy doses you will receive might be reduced. Okay, or the dose might be reduced, but it most likely the number of doses would be reduced. Okay, so that's one. And another one is cancers tend to dodge the immune system, or they tend to evade the immune system. Okay, so another function of immunotherapy is to remove that mask. Okay, so if the immunotherapy is able to remove the mask of the cancer, then now the immune system can now recognize the cancer. Oh, hey, this is the bad guy, so I can now kill the bad guy. Okay, so that's how these treatment modalities work. And mind you, it's not only the PPARs, the treatment, okay, the conventional treatments like your immunotherapy. It's also your diet, okay, because the food that you eat is pivotal if these treatment modalities work. Because if you continue to eat all the bad foods which promotes cancer growth, then that will negate all the treatments that you are undergoing. And at the same time, if you eat all the right foods, then you will also make the treatment modalities like immunotherapy and the PPAR protocols more effective. Okay, so the diet that you eat is really crucial for this. Okay, so if you are not a candidate for chemotherapy, then you use the strategies that we've just discussed. Okay.
Thank you, sir. We always say this here, right? That you have to get all the help that you can get, and like just like what Sir Sean said before, when you do that, you actually heighten up the percentage of chances of winning over cancer.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Another question coming from Mr. Bale, Nathan. Is PPARs effective as well if the chemo was stopped? I think the question is if the chemo was stopped in the middle or it was not finished.
Yes, because after you stop chemotherapy, your body is so damaged, right? Healthy cells would be so damaged, so you need your body to recover as well. So PPARs will be able to help your body recover much faster. Okay, this is very important, especially if you are working. Okay, because if you are so fatigued and you have a lot of side effects and you are working, then you will have a lot of absences. Of course, your boss will not be happy and your income will be affected. Okay, so it's very important to have this kind of support. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you, sir. All right. And someone is asking, can I go on online consultation with Dr. Jansen? Right? Oh, good question. All right, we will definitely get in touch with you. But you know what? There's actually a link on the description. Where you can actually set a schedule for us to call you and set you a schedule for an online appointment. Okay. All right. I just want to greet, of course, but just before we go to the next question, I just want to greet our, of course, avid viewers, of course, our two ladies from Malaysia and the Philippines, Miss Cora, Sir Ramirez, Miss Jenele would like to greet you as well. Okay. And of course, also our viewers coming from YouTube. As you know, we are also simultaneously live streaming on YouTube. Right, that's why I am seeing one question here coming from Miss Dolly. If I took PPARs, what are the chances of survival after all chemo and treatment?
Okay, I cannot specify a specific survival rate, okay? Because the survival rate varies depending on your stage, depending on the other treatment modalities that you have undergone already. Okay, so there will not be a specific number for that. Now, what I can assure you is the number that you see on the internet, that will be significantly decreased.
Yeah.
Okay, so you will increase your survival rate. You'll have a better quality of life. You'll just feel better overall. Okay, so that is what I can promise you. Okay, but in terms of the survival rate, because the number is quite arbitrary, so I cannot specify a number.
So, I mean, to paraphrase what Dr. Jansen is saying is that we can assure you, or we're very confident to say that your survival rate will be better than the average survival rate of anyone else who's going through the same treatment as you. Right? With your same condition, going through the same treatment as you will do much better. So that is almost like a guarantee, because we will be able to minimize the side effects of the chemotherapy. So if the chemotherapy is very effective for you, then your survival rate is going to be excellent, because the chemotherapy won't kill you because the side effects of the chemotherapy will be managed by the PPARs. And also your recovery rate from after the chemotherapy, your body getting back strong, and the effect of the PPARs on the cancer itself through your own immune system, all these are all definite positives, all plus. So the strategy in cancer it should always be, if you eat healthy, you increase your percentage chance of success by 10%. If you take your chemo, you have a basic chance of 50%. So 50 plus 10 is 60%. You take PPARs, that adds another 30%. So that will bring it up to 90%. So this is what you want to do when you're treating cancer, right? So if you're doing chemotherapy and PPARs, so you might have a success rate of 70%, but you insist on eating barbecue pork and chicken, that 70% drops to 60%, right? Because you are lowering the effectiveness. So that's one simple good way of looking at cancer. So if you keep adding all the different things that you do together, it adds up. It really improves your overall chance with every correct positive protocol and procedure that you do. And of course, the reverse is also true. If you insist on drinking alcohol and smoking and eating lots of barbecue meat when you have cancer, then it's going to lower your chance of survival. The more you eat certain things and do certain things, the more it reduces. So in a way, it's really up to you. It's your choice. But I can tell you something. I remember my aunt. This one is a bit close to my heart. My aunt had very serious stage 4 stomach cancer. So number one, it was incredibly painful. Okay, I come from a family of doctors, right? So it took some convincing, because sometimes it's the worst thing in the world when your family members are doctors. My mom will say, hey, don't argue with your cousin. But anyway, at the end of the day, my aunt was open to take PPARs, and she did very well. And then when I was not there, one of her friends, right, out of good intention, gave her beef bone stew that she cooked over 10 hours. So it really had all the essence of beef, right? Yeah. Her idea was that, beef is the thing that you take to strengthen your body. So she really did out of good intention for my aunt. But the moment my aunt took that, her cancer just skyrocketed, and she didn't survive much longer after that. So I can really say that. But before that, she was actually doing well, having breakthrough. That one meal, I don't know how many, whether it was just one bowl, or she just took it for lunch, or she took it for lunch and dinner. But that one meal alone was literally the turning point for her cancer. So I just want to let everybody know, you want to understand cancer this way. Every correct thing that you do, you increase your chance of success. Every mischievous thing that you want to do, like for example, you just want to eat certain things, it could also severely change your chances. All right, so but back to the original question. Yes, we can't give you exact number because we have to know the different formula, right?
Yes.
What's the chances when you do the chemo? When you add to, are you doing this? Are you doing that? But what we can say for sure is yes, it will make a significant, big bump to your survival rate.
Yes, that will significantly increase. Now, the way the medical literature puts this, they study singular treatment modalities. Now, if a cancer patient does not undergo any treatment modality, what is the survival rate? Once this cancer patient undergoes chemotherapy, what's the survival rate? If this patient undergoes immunotherapy, what's the survival rate? Okay, so that's how the medical literature puts it. If you combine each and every one of these, it's very difficult to find one research telling that, okay, the survival rate of combining this and this is this one. Okay, because you have to consider also other factors, so it's very difficult to say a number. So I hope you understand the way the medical literature displays the data. However, rest assured, if you do something that promotes cancer growth, well, definitely survival rate will go down. Okay, the survival rate, let's say for example you put it at 50. Okay, now if it goes down to 30%, now the 30% is not individualized. Okay, it's not individualized. It's not telling me, for example, me, I'll now be able to survive at 30% in 5 years. It's not that. The way that the 30% or the 50% means is 50 out of 100 will survive at 5 years. 30 out of 100 will survive at 5 years. Okay? 30 out of 100 people. Okay? So that's what the percent means. Okay? So please be very careful about that. It's the number of people and not an individual probability or chance.
So it could be that, that 30 persons out of 100, he may be doing a lot of other things correct. Like for example, he living a healthy life, managing his stress well. That's why he's one of the 30 out of 100. So in other words, don't be too hung up on the percentages. Be more focused on doing as many positive things that you can for your fight against cancer.
Thank you, sir. It's like you really don't want to eliminate yourself to that percentage. Right?
Yes. I saw a question now that is in front of me that I would like to answer.
Okay.
It said, is raw salad plant-based or good during chemotherapy with PIPA soft gel capsule? The answer is definitely yes. But I wanted to answer this because I wanted to say that please, when you eat raw salad, try to eat it at home. When you go out to the restaurants, try to eat cooked vegetables.
Yes.
The reason is that today many vegetables are full of pesticides and fertilizers. So you don't know if the minimum wage chef or cook in the kitchen really washed your vegetables clean. So you don't want to eat it raw. Now, if you are at home, you will, of course, take more care in washing your vegetables. And there's a very simple technique that you can do while eating raw vegetables is you can actually take hot water and just rinse your vegetable with it, because many pesticides and fertilizers break down very quickly under heat. So you don't have to cook it a long time.
Yes.
You just pour boiling water over your vegetables. It's still crunchy, it's still raw, but that's enough to really sterilize and kill a lot of pesticides and insecticides. Now do remember, we promote eating plants, but pesticides and insecticides can also be very carcinogenic. So eating cooked vegetables is always safer unless you are very sure how it is prepared, which is why eat salads at home. When you go out to restaurant, eat cooked vegetables.
Yeah. Also, I can understand your concern, no, because a lot of oncos actually, I think majority of the oncos will tell you to avoid raw food, no, especially salads, because especially if you're undergoing chemotherapy because of your risk of getting infection. Now, that is for oncologists, no. In culinary medicine, or here in our field in lifestyle medicine, it is okay to eat raw plant foods even if you are undergoing chemo. Okay, so you just have to clean it well. Okay, so how do you, so aside from the technique that Sean told you, another technique would be, number one, wash your plant foods in running water. Okay, just do a light scrub on the surface. That would you would be able to remove a majority of the residues, okay, from the plant food. Then you mix it, or no, not mix, no. You soak it. You soak it in a pail of water with 1 part salt and 9 parts water. Okay, it's a salt bath, essentially. So afterwards, after you soak it for about 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, you'll now be able to remove all the other residues, all the pesticides from the surface of the plant foods. Then just rinse it well. Again in running water. So that is how you can. That's also another technique. Another one is to soak it in vinegar. Okay.
I was thinking about the vinegar water.
Yeah, vinegar would also be good for cleaning your vegetables. Now, don't use the commercialized plant food washes.
They have those
Yes.
plant, vegetable, and fruit soaps.
Yes.
That's not good?
Yeah, that's not good because
okay.
even if you use those washes, you will not be able to remove all the pesticides. Okay, because there are certain pesticides that cannot be removed by that kind of wash, and you'll just spend more money. And a vinegar that is cheaper will do as good as the job. Okay,
but I think at the end of the day, heat is really one of the best ways to break down chemicals. So pour boiling water over your vegetables in addition to doing the soaps. I know it's a little bit more processed, but raw vegetables do have a lot of pluses in terms of nutrients. Your uncle is not wrong to ask you to avoid raw vegetables because most people don't handle their raw vegetables and fruits correctly. All right, but if you are able to handle it correctly, they are more beneficial. I actually know my Lola, advanced aggressive leukemia, outlived her uncle, went on a pure raw vegetable diet for a whole year. All right, she was eating everything, every vegetable raw, carrots raw, onions raw, celery raw, big chai raw, everything raw. It was, okay, she's a 7-day Adventist, so I think again, culturally in a community, they are able to be aligned that way. But well, it worked. It really worked for her. All right. So that's just one example.
Thank you so much. I'm just very, very curious for this because you mentioned a while ago that raw vegetables have pesticides in them and they are also carcinogenic. Is it could it be possible that that's the reason why some vegans get sick and also get cancer?
Oh, that's highly possible. Because sometimes being an advocate for something doesn't mean you go about your advocacy with common sense. They are just more focused on eating vegetables and forgetting that vegetables can be more toxic. For example, I think most people would think that eating, for example, fish is better than eating pork.
Yeah.
But mercury poisoning from fish is worse for your brain. You get brain degenerative diseases than eating pork.
Yeah, true.
True. Some people think that eating chicken is cleaner than eating pork, but not if you eat chicken wings, because that's exactly where they pump the growth hormones when they inject in the chicken.
Yes.
Right? So, we have our advocacies, but I guess sometimes a little bit more knowledge will be important in how you exercise your beliefs properly, right? So, which is better, eating free-range chicken without any injections, or fish that is farmed with full of antibiotics? definitely the free-range chicken, right? If you ask me, taking free-range chicken or vegetables with pesticides, that's hard. I would probably say maybe the chicken, because the pesticides is chemicals, and a little bit of chemicals can do a lot of harm to the body, especially to a cancer patient. So in your advocacy, gotta be wise.
Thank you, Sir Fran. Thank you, Dr. Jansen. Another question. Remember, a while ago we had this 12 cm tumor for the liver cancer patient. She has like a follow-up question. It is actually the doctor that is not recommending the patient to go for biopsy because they are afraid for too much bleeding. But they had him undergone APF, alpha fetoprotein and triacid. But it seems that it is normal. What could be the meaning of this? I am translating real time.
Yeah, so the patient is saying that, okay, you have, the patient has a 12 centimeter tumor, and one of the tumor markers for liver cancer is AFP, or alpha fetoprotein. Now, for all liver cancer patients, that elevates, okay? Now, what if it's normal? Because the patient's alpha fetoprotein is normal. So, would the tumor still be cancer?
Or could it be benign?
Or could it be, benign, something benign? Depending on the scan, okay, the triphasic scan, I would rely on the character of the triphasic scan. Check if the tumor enhances. If the tumor does not enhance, then it is a benign tumor. Okay, if it's a benign tumor and it is not causing any clinical problems, then just leave it alone. Okay, well, we can attempt to shrink it down through by using PPAR agonists, but if you weigh things down, shrinking it down with using PPAR agonists will just be a bonus. So if you just want to have it just reduced in size, we can try. Okay, but if it's not causing any problems whatsoever, then just leave it alone. So just monitor its size, just monitor through the years. Okay, it can be something benign, no, because we have something what we call hepatic cysts, okay, as well. So those are liquid fluid inside. So that's one. So I need to see the result of the triphasic scan. Okay,
so
to
go for a
sure.
consult. I mean, you've been asking good questions, and I think it's good to know the answer. Right? Yeah. I saw one. Is it okay to eat veggie plants through hydroponic?
I think so.
Yeah.
But it would not be as good as a plant that was planted on a very fertile soil.
Yeah. So hydroponics, I guess in general, hydroponics are so-called cleaner because they are grown in controlled environments with hydroponics.
Yes.
So they don't really have to have pesticides sprayed on them.
Yes.
So it's usually more pesticide free. However, it's quite understood that hydroponic vegetables are less nutritious in general compared to those grown in plants, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's it, because they have to artificially pump nutrients into the water
Trying to
recreate the soil. But you know, the soil is so complicated. Over hundreds of years, you get that soil. And those of us in Philippines have the benefit of soil that is volcanic. So that's even richer in minerals and other trace minerals. So that's the difference. Hydroponic plants are safer, so it's fine, it's safe to eat. However, it's less nutritious.
I have a funny question.
Okay, you have a question.
Would it make a difference if the hydroponic is done and then underwater there are fishes being
fishes?
bred?
Fishes. It's quite interesting.
That's interesting. I mean, the concept is the fish poop
Yes.
has nutrients, right?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
mean, theoretically,
somebody should try.
there's improvement because you have additional material,
fertilizer,
right?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But somebody, it would be good to know, no, if somebody would try that way.
But I can see
first.
why they will put fishes in a hydroponic, in case mosquitoes
Yes,
or
mosquitoes.
larvae,
Exactly.
right? So the fishes will eat
Fish
that.
would be- yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Doc. All right, we have another question coming from our YouTube viewer.
Yes.
Coming from Ms. Wench de la Cruz. Can I take PPARs again after I underwent MRM? I took PPARs 2020 to 2022 and I underwent the left BRCA3 MRM.
Doc?
Yes, you can. I mean, if you have finished surgery, there should be other treatment modalities that you need to undergo further. You can use PPAR agonist together with those treatment modalities. If you are already finished, if you finished everything, no, you're just on remission and you just want to take PPAR agonist just for general health, then yeah, of course, you can.
Actually, we normally recommend, for example, if you are a cancer patient, just finish chemotherapy. We normally will recommend if finances, okay, again, cancer is a complicated situation. One of the complications in fighting cancer is really financial. Okay, if finances is not an issue, we will actually recommend you to take extracts for 1 month. Why? During this recovery period is also where your body is the weakest. Even though you have successfully overcome cancer, and cancer is probably also the weakest point because you have successfully bombarded them with chemotherapy. So at this point, if you strengthen your body, that will be really great, right? For Dominic, which is Sheila's son, was nasopharyngeal cancer, right? Stage 4. All right.
Yes.
When did he go into remission? 2 years ago or 3 years?
September 2019.
2019.
Around 3 years. Yeah,
3 years ago. But up to today, he's still taking powder.
Correct.
Yes, because courtesy of Simply Nature. All right. Yeah, so he's still taking the powder, right? So there's only positives, all right? But again, is financial is one of the concerns. Now, definitely take the tablets. It's going to be good for you for the rest of your life anyway. Metabolic syndromes, anti-aging, general energy level, even something as simple as very rich in chlorophyll, so you don't need to eat your wheatgrass or anything because the microalgae is super rich in chlorophyll, right? And it still contains PPAR agonists, but at maintenance level. So you would want to be on supplementation, just as we talked about in what you do after remission, when you're in remission. You got to continue to supplement. Oh yeah, we recently just did that program. It's coming up later this year. What do you do when you're in remission? What do you do when you're in remission? So we'll give you a teaser right now. What you really want to do in remission is you want to take supplements. Why? Because you are a cancer survivor. For sure, you have cancer cells in your body. So you want to do extra from a normal person who has never had cancer. And that's why supplements should be part of your strategy for every cancer survivor. Of course, live healthy lifestyle, exercise, all that is equally important. All right, but supplementation is definitely something you should do because of our pollution, the air that we breathe. We live in cities. It's hard not to not take supplements. So to Miss Wench, yes, take PPARs again. Now, what PPARs to take? If finances not an issue, yeah, go for the best for maybe just a month. All right, if you want to manage your finances, you can take soft gels for a month, then go down to tablets. But if you're already very fit and healthy, everything's good, yeah, just start with the tablets and keep it there, right? And remember, take at least 10 micro tablets 2 times a day. I'm perfectly healthy, never had cancer, don't have any issues. I take 10 micro tablets 2 times a day. All right, so that's my normal dosage. And I'm 48 years old, turning 50 very soon. So I take it for anti-aging effect, all right?
Talking about anti-aging, we do have, like, I have this patient who actually reported to me that well, she wonders because she's having lesser white hair.
Oh yes. Okay, this is. Thanks for bringing it up, Sheila. We actually, many cancer patients actually, when they take PPARs, they have their white hair have black roots. They start growing black hair. We actually have one patient who's in his 90s. The daughter was amazed because her dad's hair used to be all white. When he took PPARs for cancer, his hair became pepper. You know what I mean? A mixture of black and white.
Yeah.
You know, so that just goes to show, you know, how much the PPAR protocol is really revitalizing the body. What is anti-aging? Anti-aging is basically making your body stronger. I mean, in the simplest form, that's what it is. All right. So yeah, I hope that completely answers Ms. Wench's question.
Thank you, Mr. Han. Thank you, Doc. All right, another question coming from Ms. Maribeth Ramos. I am a breast cancer patient and taking Femara for more than 4 years, almost 5 years. I am experiencing now joint pains and has osteoporosis as its side effects. What should I do?
Okay. Very good
Femara.
question. Very good question. Okay. One of the side effects of anastrozole is actually osteoporosis.
Wow.
That's why, especially if you have metastasis to the bone, right? Stage 4 breast cancer with bone metastasis. Usually, oncos also inject you with zoledronic acid to prevent osteoporosis. Now, if you already have the osteoporosis and also calcific tendinosis, calcific tendinosis is just there are calcium deposits on your tendons.
Oh, that could be painful.
Yeah, that's why you feel pain. Now, why did calcium got deposited on your tendons? It's because of increased calcium in your blood, no, from your bones. Okay. Now, how would I approach this? Because there is no surefire way to reverse this thing, no. But here is how would I approach it. Number one, you have to eat soy foods. Why? Because soy foods can help build up your bone. That's number one. Number two, you need vitamin K2. Specific vitamin K2, okay? Because vitamin K2 can facilitate the deposit of calcium towards your bones and build it back. Okay? And number three is to avoid green leafy vegetables which have high oxalates like spinach, because you risk, because you have very high calcium in your blood right now, you risk developing kidney stones.
But not all green vegetables.
Not all green,
okay.
Just the spinach. Just the spinach. Yes, and all the related spinach species like your water spinach, and these things, these foods. Okay, so for me, that's how I would approach it. And also PPAR agonists, because PPAR agonists, one of the benefits of it is cellular differentiation, so it can help you build back your bones. Okay, PPAR agonists. So to know for sure, no, the exact protocol to prescribe you, I need to know more details. So it's better for you to go for a consult, so I can take a look at the other aspects of your health. Okay, and lastly, if you are feeling pain, okay, then pain relievers would be really helpful. Okay. Yeah.
Vale Nathan asks, when is a good time to take PPAR's extract liquid and how much need for daily consumption? I think, okay, when do you recommend your patients to take extract liquid?
When they wake up on an empty stomach.
Yeah, actually, same over here. Now, okay, there are two reasons. Number one is you are waking up, so you need energy for the rest of the day. Your body needs to function for the day, so that's a good time to have the PPARs activated in your body system. All right. For your information, PPAR receptors are actually found in your muscles. So every time you exercise, you're actually also activating PPAR receptors.
Yes.
So if you're active, that's a good combination. The other consideration is sometimes when people take PPAR liquid at night, if they don't time it correctly, they get energized. So that may make sleeping a bit harder when you do need to sleep because you need to rest. All right. How much daily consumption? we depending on your staging. So if you are late stage cancer, it could be as many as 3 vials a day, but that's really for cases where it's a Hail Mary, right? Like, you know, all options have been explored. You are not even, probably not even on chemo at all. It's a last attempt. Let's try high dosing on PEPA liquids to see if the body will naturally make a turnaround. Okay, this doesn't mean that taking a lot of PEPA liquid is toxic or anything. No, you can take up to that. We've actually done an LD50 test, which means lethal dosage 50 times, right? So it really means that you can't really overdose on the liquid. It's just that the liquid is more costly. So normally we try to manage the finances part, remember? So here at Simply Healed and Simply Nature, we are very mindful of what fighting cancer really is. Fighting cancer is managing your protocols. It is also about managing your expectations, and very important is also managing your wallet, right? You want to choose a protocol that you can sustain. No point doing something halfway.
Yep.
So if you ever go for a consult with Dr. Jansen or speak to any Simply Nature customer relations officer, do be honest with them. You know, don't be shy at all. Don't be shy at all. You're not going to be the first one, and you're not going to be the last one to say something like, wow, I'm very financially stressed because of my cancer. Okay, so don't be shy at all. Instead, let us know what your budget is, and we can tailor the best protocol that your budget can give you. So we will take into consideration maybe giving you something stronger in the beginning, then something less expensive, but it's still effective to keep the thing going. Now, if you are really wealthy, believe it or not, I actually have patients, right, that are taking liquid extract, 2 vials a day. And then I told them, you know, you've been taking it for a month plus already. You might want to consider to go down to the cheaper version.
Yes.
And the patient actually said to me, no, it's working, so no, we're going to stick with it. They ended up taking like 200 boxes of our liquid over a period of like 2 years plus, right? So again, it depends on your financial strength, right? So do let us know, do let Dr. Jansen know, do let our CROs like Sheila know where your position is. And again, don't be shy. You know, we all come from different walks of life, but what we can do is give you the best that is available to you, that you can sustain over a long period, that makes sure that you can win your fight against cancer.
Yes, I actually have a lot of patients with the same predicament as you know, especially because we have to balance our finances as well. So I usually take a look at the overall case, then balance it out. Okay, please go for a consult. Anyway, the consultation fee is consumable, so if you purchase the product, you know,
the consult is free.
The consult is technically free. So just book an appointment, message us so we can schedule a consult.
Vale just said that that's exactly their case. So Vale, I feel you. You're not the only one. I know. Okay, so our healthcare specialists and our customer relations officers are very experienced. All right, so if they will be able to tailor something that is affordable. What is important when we design a protocol for you based on your budget is we want to make sure that you can sustain it for more than 3 months, right? You don't want to do well fighting cancer, then just when everything is doing well, So being consistent, being able to do it for more than 3 months, 6 months, it will give you a better fighting chance than to take the strongest and then only can last for half a month. All right, so and of course, if what you can, oh wow, okay, Vale was saying they spent 2 years, all our savings on 2 years on chemo. Yeah, there's, again, this is, okay, let me finish my statement first. Okay, so what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say because I saw what Vale wrote down there, all right? So, okay, to respond to Vale, he said they spent savings 2 years on chemo, but the result is still nothing. You're not the only one. Okay, I've met patients who spent 6 million pesos. That's a lot of money, right? 6 million pesos. And in the end, the doctor said it's still terminal. Nothing they can do. In Singapore, I know patients who spent like 30 million pesos on all these treatments and still nothing they can do. Okay, I'm gonna make a uninformed comment. I don't know whether it's true or not, but here is some reasons why patients can spend so much on chemotherapy and not get results. It's because they only do chemotherapy. They only do chemotherapy. You know, it's so important. People don't understand. Here at Simply Nature, in our Simply Heal program, we always talk about chemo, but please don't misunderstand. We are not saying that chemo is better. We're just saying chemo is a very important tool in fighting cancer. What is really, really important is what else you do. What is your lifestyle? What are you eating? What supplements are you eating? Are you doing anything to counter the negative side effects of chemo? For example, the chemo is killing the cancer but hurting your bone marrow. Yeah. So your own immune system can't fight the cancer properly. So you're only getting the bombardment from the chemo, but you really need your own immune system to also fight the chemo, right? The cancer. So just punching with your right arm is not going to win you the fight. You have to punch with both arms. Unfortunately, if you only did chemo without protecting your body, then chemo is really not that great an option. I know I shared with Dr. Jansen in an earlier program, I used to be against chemo because of the side effects. Yes, I honestly said that I was against chemo because of all the side effects. Today, you can see I'm very positive about chemo because I know that the Simply Nature PPARs can protect you from the side effects of chemo. And that once you remove the side effects, it increases the effect of chemo because your other organs are healthy, allowing your body to recover. And that has a huge impact on the final outcome of whether that cancer is going to get better or not. And of course, our PPARs also strengthen the immune system to act on the cancer itself. It lowers your chronic inflammation, so the cancer very hard to grow. So again, back to the thing. The issue with many people who try a protocol and it didn't work is not that your protocol is not good, is that didn't do enough. Cancer strategy is really every positive thing you do will help you get extra percentage. And once you cross a certain percentage, right, your success rate becomes more clear. The effect of your protocols become more clear. You know, so you can do everything and be a very angry and bitter person. Your cancer will have a hard time getting well also. You know, you can do only PPARs and you are always laughing and happy. Your cancer can get really well without so it has many factors. So do as many positive ones as you can. So for Mr. Vale Nathan, I would just want to say that go for a consult so that Dr. Jansen can know why the chemo didn't work after you've tried for 2 years, right? So that we can see what was missing and whether today chemotherapy is still ideal, right? So it may not be anymore. It could have been, you could have exhausted chemotherapy. Yes. Or for example, the cancer could have become resistant to the particular chemotherapy. Then let's try other protocols, all right? But don't give up hope. Let's carry on. And again, I understand the financial stress. We really empathize with you because we do specialize in cancer patients, right? So we will do our best to make things work as best as we can.
Thank you, Sir Sean. Thank you, Dr. Jansen. We appreciate your honesty, most especially when it comes to budget concerns. Okay? I think this will be our last question, and I think this person who asked this question that came in late, a little bit late, because the question is, if a patient is already cancer-free, do we need to still watch the food intake and no alcohol, even it's occasionally?
Oh, we actually, okay, number one, we actually did a program on what is acceptable alcohol content. So search the YouTube. This actually, we did an entire program of
Yes.
what is
What is
considered,
considered as a safe
what is
or,
occasional, all right? What is
occasional,
occasional?
moderate.
What is moderate?
Drinking
Now-
moderately.
Yeah. Okay. So please go and find that YouTube video. I think it's probably entitled "Alcohol" or something.
Yes.
Yeah, alcohol and cancer.
Drinking moderately. Yeah.
Or drinking. It's called drinking moderately. Literally,
How
Dr.
far
Jansen
can
will
you
tell
go?
you how many beers per week, how many glasses of wine, something like that.
Yeah, we have that.
We have that. Okay, we can't remember right now because I don't drink. All right. Okay. Now lifestyle. The answer, even before Dr. Jansen answer, will be yes. Okay. I just want to share with you, being in the profession that I'm in, I get to speak to cancer patients, and one of the greatest joy is to speak to cancer patients that have survived like 25 years, and still in remission. That means cancer free for 25 years. Now the person that I met that was cancer free for 25 years is still young. She is early 50s. So she really got cancer really early. She got treated and she's successful with cancer without PPARs, all right? Because that's 25 years ago, all right? We weren't around yet, all right? And you know what she was doing? She came to our office still looking for supplements that are good for cancer. She has been cancer-free for 25 years and she's still looking for what is great for anti-cancer. So I just want to say that once you have cancer, have this, I guess, consciousness that you want to continually find what's the best thing out there for cancer so that you can enjoy your life. So that in case you do want to drink occasionally, at least you're doing everything else you can to keep yourself cancer free. So that will make your occasional drink less dangerous, right? Although Dr. Jansen will say don't take alcohol. So that's my take. What about you, Doc?
Okay, for those of you who have cancer, right? So again, I'm always saying this to all my patients. Diet cannot be, how do you call this? It cannot be compromised, okay? The food that you eat have to be really strict, okay? Because even with small amounts of cancer-promoting foods, that can eradicate all the effects or all the beneficial effects of the treatment that you are undergoing. So it's very important not to kick yourself in the ass again and again and again. So that's one. And even if all of the treatment modalities, you stop all of the treatment modalities that you're undergoing, you stop the chemo, everything, no? Just don't change your diet to how it was before, okay? You still have to eat a whole food plant-based diet because that is the only diet that has been proven to reverse cancer, okay? The only diet. Now, I saw the comment of Mr. Vale Nathan.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sheila, maybe later you can message Mr. Vale Nathan and encourage him. So for Mr. Vale Nathan, I just want to let you know, when I first met Sheila, she carried her son Dominic into my office, and that moved my heart, right? Because Dominic was so thin, so thin, skin and bones, really just skin and bones. And this is before chemotherapy. This is just the cancer alone. But surprisingly, after chemotherapy, 2 sessions, he put on weight and he was back to normal. He was on liquid PPARs the very morning before his first chemo session. And Dominic came to me when he was 4 years old. And so he is 7 years old this year, or 8?
8. He's already
8. And everything's back to normal. He's very, very energetic. Apparently, he can't put on weight easily because he runs and too active. All right, so that's a really good thing. So Mr. Vale Nathan, I just want to let you know that our hearts are all with you. I'm sure all the other viewers as well. So speak to Sheila so that she can share her experience with you, and arrange for a consult, because Dr. Jansen's youngest patient who is now in remission. Is it in remission?
Baby
Jian?
Yes.
That-
Technically speaking, she's already in remission.
Yeah, and baby Jian is only 36 weeks old. 36
when I
weeks
first saw
old.
her. Yeah.
Yeah, and
first saw
she
her,
did
36
go for
weeks.
chemo, right?
She did.
She did go for chemo.
She did.
Yeah, and she's now in remission. So, so you have these two options. Sheila will encourage you, and if you would like, go for a consult with Dr. Jansen. Let him know the full condition of your wonderful son, and let's see what we can do for him.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Doc. Okay, I think that would be I guess that would be our last question for tonight. Just few very short closing remarks or closing words from the both of you. Starting off, with Sir Chan, perhaps.
Okay, I think one of the recurring statement that people have made is that can they go back to eating what they want after they do well with their cancer treatment? This seems to be the question that keeps coming up. So I want to share with you guys, again, remember the story I shared with you, my own aunt. One day of taking the wrong beef stew, that her cancer journey went downhill very rapidly. Okay, now I want to say something about myself, right? I know this, I don't mean to trivialize it, but I'm just going to talk about lifestyle change, all right? So I used to be much fatter. I used to eat a lot of meat. I'm a carnivore. I used to never be able to eat with Doc Jansen because either he watched me eat or I watch him eat. He eats vegetables, I eat meat. All right. So I want to share that. Just open your mind up and just try to explore the tasty recipes, vegetable recipes. You know, I met this chef whom we're gonna have lunch with tomorrow.
Yes.
Chef B. She had a restaurant and it was one of the best pizzas that I've ever tasted. Very nice, literally everything very nice. I was shocked to find out that the cheese that is on her pizza that I thought was fantastic is not made from milk. It's made from cashew nuts. I was shocked. Cashew cheese. Yeah, it tasted like
It tastes like
exactly like mozzarella cheese.
Yes,
Nice
yes.
mozzarella cheese. So I was so shocked, and I never tried to change to eating, Impossible Burger, fake meat, fake that, because I don't try to eat fake chicken. If I want to eat chicken, I eat the real chicken, right? So what I did was I learned to enjoy tofu. I learned to enjoy pig chai. I always bring Doc Jansen to a Chinese restaurant where they have a very nice spinach sauce cabbage.
Yes.
Okay, it's a little bit sinful because they put a little bit of scallops in there just to change the flavor profile. But what I'm trying to say is that as you live healthily, you don't think too much about it now, right? Once you start eating more plant-based food, it's going to be easy to stay on a plant-based diet. Yeah, you can still eat your occasional meats, and Doc Jansen and I share a technique, guinea ling, all right? When you sprinkle some guinea ling on top of, let's say, your sitao, it tastes like a meat dish, but it's very little meat. It's just the garnishing of guinea ling, okay? So these are things that, it's not a trick. You later realize that this combination is tasty, and you grow to like it, right? And then it won't be such a struggle anymore. So what I'm just sharing with everybody is, as you go on your cancer journey, don't have this idea that, the moment I get well, I can go back. No, enjoy the new diet. There is wonderful dishes. It's wonderful, tasty. Last testimony. Michelin star. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with what Michelin star is. If you have one Michelin star, you are one of the top restaurants in the world. All right. So this restaurant has 3 Michelin stars. Almost all Michelin star restaurants are steakhouses where they serve meat, because a lot of delicious food contains chicken, duck, beef, mutton, meat. This chef had experienced a change of heart, so he decided to make his restaurant plant-based. Can you imagine a top international restaurant decided not to serve steak? And everybody thought that he will lose his 3 Michelin stars. But guess what? He created a menu totally plant-based. And when the next year came, when the people came to audit his restaurant, he still kept 3 Michelin stars. There are not many restaurants in the world that are 3 Michelin stars. But his was completely plant-based, and he managed to keep his 3 Michelin stars.
Really
So I just want to share, the concept that no, just because you are eating a plant-based diet doesn't mean that your life is not tasty. All right, but just put some effort to find out what are your favorite tasty dishes that are vegetable-based, plant-based, and eat more of that and grow to love it. And if you do want to eat your occasional meat and so on, yeah, fine, but you don't think about it like it's a struggle. It's not a struggle. Doc?
Very, very encouraging.
Yes, I just want to thank all of you for staying with us until late this night, no? So please continue to share our channel, then share with all of your friends, no? This channel of ours, so we can help more people. The success of our channel all depends on you. Okay, so the more you share, the more people we can help. Okay, so please continue sharing, and thank you for staying with us all throughout this episode.
Thank you, Dr. Jansen. Thank you, Sir Fran. All right. I just, of course, want to invite everybody. Just before our next webinar this Thursday, we will be having, in line with the World Diabetes Day, we will be having a special episode of webinar this coming November 14th. That's on Monday.
Yeah.
Entitled
3 Michelin
Reversing
star
Diabetes,
plant-based
together as well with our Dr. Jansen. And of
Can you
course,
imagine reaching
Mr.
three
Fran.
Michelin star
Okay,
without
and also,
steak?
for our dear
Wow,
clients and
that's-
patients out there, just want to remind you that
amazing.
tomorrow is 11 mega sale
In
on
order to
our
achieve that,
Lazada,
he grew his
and
own
of course we will
vegetables.
be having what we call it the Simply Nature Live together
Very
with
committed.
Miss Jenelay, Miss Ben, and of course at the service Miss Sheila tomorrow. That's 5 p.m. We hope to see you all, and we hope that you can also check out as early as now the participating products that we have here for the 11/11 Lazada campaign. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Once
yeah,
again, we are
11/11
very
is
happy
coming.
that and pleased that you are actually finding the best
World Diabetes
options,
Day
whether
is,
you are
Monday?
on
Yeah, I think
remission
so.
or still
okay.
on treatment,
Monday or
and most
Tuesday?
especially when
Monday, yeah.
now that you are already
Coding
cancer
anyway.
survivor.
Coding anyway, so
Because
I'm
your
gonna stay late
success
at night,
in your cancer journey is what keeps us running here in Simply Nature. Because here in Simply Nature, we are always with you from start to healing. Thank you, everyone. Good night, and God bless you all.